But basically, these things are so simple. Most of you do them and don't realize it. And then some of you are going to like kick yourself for not doing them at all because they're so simple. But it's a change in your vocabulary or your vernacular. And it's based off of what we know about how the memory works. So there's two types of rehearsal that can increase learning and memory. One is distributed rehearsal and one is elaborative rehearsal. Distributive rehearsal just refers to repetitively going over things spaced out over time. And elaborative rehearsal is when you actually think about something and make it personal and try to think about the content in that way. So what I've started doing is about every slide or two as I'm lecturing, I literally will add what I call a lecture cue to get my students to talk to me. And anyone who's ever subbed my classes can tell you that my classes are very, very interactive. And Amanda can back me up on this. I train them from day one to talk to me. I don't want to sit up there and have a very passive class. I don't want to be the only one talking. So literally about every 5 minutes, I'm either, who can remind me what this is called instead of just saying it? Or who can give me a personal example of a time that they've seen this happen? This works really easily in psychology because psychology is sort of everywhere, so I'm not sure how it would work for like chemistry or something where you're like, who can tell me the last time you spilled acid on your face and why that's a bad thing? I don't know if it will work there. However, what I do know is that by using these cues and getting students, with the second you ask a question, they go from being passive to being active. And they start increasing the connections of their memory and tying it straight to the lecture. So, and now they're practicing exactly what you're going to be having them do on an exam. So it has this sort of triple-fold positive benefits, I guess, of doing it. And you get more interaction from the students. You can tell when they're going down the wrong path. I know a lot of people don't like to ask the elaborative rehearsal lecture cues, which are like, give me an example of when you've seen this, because they're always afraid the student might give the wrong example. However, I find that that's the perfect opportunity to clear up why it's the wrong example. And I don't find that students are in any way have a disadvantage by hearing wrong information. Again, using them, you want to make sure it taps into the type of assessment that you do. So in psychology, we're in the Psych 180 classes, we have about 80 to 100 students. We try very hard to have our tests be a third knowledge, which is your basic memorization, vocab word. A third of them be comprehension, which is more the understanding, and then a third be application based. So when using this, each of these lecture cues promotes differentially on the types of questions you're asking. So the distributive rehearsal cues are better if your tests are more knowledge based. If it's really about vocab words and definitions, then the distributed rehearsal cues are better for you. Whereas if it's application, then it's all about the elaborative rehearsal cues. When you start using them, it seems weird and awkward, and I literally put them in my notes and bolded them so that I would make sure that I did them, and I don't have to think about it anymore. It happens about every 5 minutes or so in my class. And the students, if you start doing it on day one, they are not afraid to raise their hands and jump in there with, even if it's a wrong answer. Even in my stats class, which is a smaller class, they will also answer all my questions, even if they're wrong. I think that's it. There are references on the back if you care. You can go read the data for yourself. I know some people are data driven and others like pictures. So there's a picture and there's more data to be found. And I have all the things if you have any questions. Super easy. All right, that's it.
Okay.